Okay, so in this video, I am going to teach you about a very special way that your brain is working against you. And if you can get this point that I'm going to explain in this video, it's going to do wonders to help you accomplish your goals of coping better with your divorce, co-parenting better with your kid's other parent, and helping your kid cope well with your divorce. So stay tuned. Welcome to Wellness with John. I'm John Peters, and these are resources to help you thrive. This series is about co-parenting after divorce, and I'm going to continue making a lot of videos, so stay tuned for lots of different topics that I'm going to focus on in the series. But I want to say that my main goals are to help you cope well, to help you co-parent well, and to help you parent well through and after your separation. And I have worked over my last 27 years of my career with thousands of separating and separated parents as a therapist, a coach, an educator, an expert witness, a legal advisor on legal teams, and mediator. And I've written a couple of books on the topic. I've talked with literally thousands of parents at this point. And many parents do well after separation. It's a struggle, and even if you're doing it well, it's very challenging. But I will tell you that the parents that I've worked with that do it better than others get the main point that I'm going to talk about in this video. So I really want you to get a particular understanding of how your brain is working and how that relates to how you're experiencing and responding to your divorce. And if you don't fully get it, come back and watch this video again later. Keep thinking about it. Try to have an open mind about it. But I'm going to plant the seed of the idea, even if you don't get it today. But if you're one of the people who can get this, this is going to supercharge your progress toward coping better, toward co-parenting better, and toward helping your child cope with your divorce. So what I'm talking about is some brain stuff that I've referred to in prior videos in this series. And it's stuff that I discovered when I was working with parents and trying to figure out why the actual doing of co-parenting after separation is so danged hard, okay? It's one of the most challenging things that we do. Some people do it well, other people don't do it as well. And kids benefit when their parents adjust to the divorce well and co-parent well after the separation. And kids need their parents to parent them well after separation for them to cope with the adjustments that they face through the divorce process. And so this thing that I want to talk about, and I know I'm being a little vague by saying I'm going to talk about a brain thing, but I want you to understand something about how your brain works, because if you understand it, it's really going to make a big difference. Okay, so what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is the propensity of your brain. So this is the nuts and bolts of what I want to get across in this video. Your brain is wired to cause you to get focused on a particular reaction, a particular experience, and it's doing that to the exclusion of alternative perceptions. What this means is that your brain has generated a bias toward having a particular type of perception, and simultaneously, your brain is glued into that focus so that you can't unhook, okay? And, you know, for example, probably many of you watching this video, if we set aside your own experience of your divorce and you just think back to the past, when you've had a friend or a family member or maybe a coworker or somebody who has gone through a breakup, okay? And what you notice about them is that pretty much all day, every day, they're focused on one of two things. They're focused on my ex is evil, stupid, and crazy, okay? Or they're focused on I suck and I'm a victim and the universe sucks and it'll never be better again, okay? If you look at the content of what people are saying during and after a relationship breakup, it conforms to one of those two things, okay? So why is this the case? Why is it that for weeks or months after a breakup, people just won't shut up talking about the breakup all day, every day? And what they're saying is usually my ex is evil, stupid, and crazy, okay? Some version of that. The reason for this, and I referred to this in an earlier video, is that it's an artifact of the evolutionary process that designed our brain to keep us alive, all right? If you are about to be eaten by a giant bear, it's highly advantageous for your brain to lock on target and see that bear as the danger, right? So to have what we call a negative appraisal, like that's a bad thing, all right? Because that motivates us to then react to protect ourselves and to save ourselves. Simultaneously, there is an advantage if our brain not only says that's a bad thing, but our brain then glues our focus onto the target so that until our stress level goes down, which is a sign that the danger is gone, our brain will remain glued onto the target. Okay? So let me just repeat that because I really want you to understand what I'm talking about. Our brains are wired to recognize the danger and name that's the bad thing to the exclusion of other things, right? And to glue that focus onto that danger target and stay glued until our stress level is down, right? Now, this makes sense that the first part would be true, excuse me, because it's not an advantage while you're being chased by a giant bear to stop and smell the roses, okay? So to put your mind in a positive frame and say, let's enjoy the beauty of life, okay? If you did that while being chased by a bear, you would get eaten by the bear, okay? There's not an advantage. There's a disadvantage to stopping and smelling the roses while there's danger present, okay? So our brain is wired to shut down the parts that can even see the beauty, the positive, okay? Because getting distracted and looking at something that's positive would actually cause us to get eaten by a bear, right? I'm talking about literal history with literal physical threats here, all right? So let me just say this once more time because I really want you to get this. When stress goes up, your brain is designed to open up the circuits to see the negative to wide open and to actually shut down the circuits that give you the ability to see the positive, okay? And simultaneously to glue your focus on the thing that you think is the most dangerous, the bad thing, and to keep your focus glued on that thing until your stress level goes down, all right? This is why, again, if you've had a friend who's gone through a relationship breakup and they won't shut up talking about the breakup all day, every day for months, it's because they are stressed about the breakup, so high stress level, therefore propensity to see the negative and propensity to get glued onto the negative, right? Now, let me pause for a second and tell you what many parents have said to me at this point once they start to get what I'm trying to get across. Many parents stop me and say, wait a minute, John, hold on. I get you're saying that my brain is in a biased, skewed mode that's causing me to see my ex as more evil, stupid, and crazy than maybe they really are. and to be stuck on focusing on how evil, stupid, and crazy they really are. But wait a minute, John, I reject that because my ex really is evil, stupid, and crazy, and here's the evidence. And then they go into a spiel of all the crap their ex has done that supports this idea that their ex is evil, stupid, and crazy, okay? Let me just say, I'm not here to quibble with any particular moment and judge it in terms of are you right or are you wrong about whether this thing that you want to tell me about is evidence of your ex being evil, stupid, and crazy, right? There are practical issues that we have to deal with in terms of our own dysfunction and our ex's dysfunction in order to clean up our world and cope and co-parent well and parent well. And I'm going to talk about some of those practical things in future videos, right? My point is not to try to say that you're just hallucinating and that your ex really is a saint and that it's all in your head and it's all misperception. I am not saying that, right? So please don't bail on this idea because of that, okay? What I'm saying is that if I were inside your head experiencing what you're experiencing and looking in the direction of your ex, okay, I'm going to see that there is a bias to focus on the negative, maybe negative that is there, right? If I'm highly focused on the bear, there's really a bear there, right? It's just I can't see the roses, right? So what I want to get across here is that you actually are in a state right now where you're stressed out and your brain has made some changes so that it's working against you. And while you're not hallucinating that much of the negative stuff actually is negative stuff, the reason that I want you to get this point is that some of the corrections that I'm going to explain in subsequent videos are going to work 1,000% better for you if you entertain this idea that I'm talking about in this video. If you reject what I'm talking about in this video, here's the pitfall. The pitfall is that parents who reject this idea that I'm trying to get across get what we call fused with the idea that their ex is evil, stupid, and crazy. When we're fused with that, it robs us of the power to work with it constructively, right? And an example of fused versus not fused is, let's say I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, okay? Let me use a real example in my life, actually, that happened just recently. I had a family member who was having some health issues. They called me late at night, woke me up after I only got an hour of sleep. And I was on the phone dealing with this for a while. And then I ended up having to get out of bed and go take them to the hospital. Okay. And then I was in the emergency department all night. So I came home and I had to work, so I couldn't go to bed. And I had to work all day. So I missed a whole night of sleep. And by the end of the day, my wife said, John, you're more irritable than you normally are, right? Probably because you didn't get good sleep, right? And I said, yes. And right. But here's the thing. During that day when I was irritable, just like you, just like everybody, I had moments of being more fused with my perceptions, which means I wasn't not fused where I said, okay, I had a bad night of sleep. And right now I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling anxious, more anxious than normal. And I'm thinking that Tom is a jerk or Joe is a jerk about such and such that he did or didn't do, right? If I am aware of it and I say, this is going on with me, it's affecting how I'm thinking, and I am thinking these thoughts, and I'm probably in a bad mood because I didn't get good sleep. That's the not fused version, okay? The fused version is Tom is a jerk. Joe is a jerk. This computer sucks because it won't reboot quickly. or whatever, I get fused with, and I think I'm seeing reality with a capital R. And it's not, no, I'm in a bad mood because I got a bad night's sleep. No, I won't even consider that. It's just that people suck. And it's not that I'm having a bad day. It's that those people are jerks, right? So if you get fused with the idea that your ex is evil, stupid, and crazy, right? And here I'm not quibbling about whether your ex is behaving well or not. I'm just saying if you're fused with it, you get stuck in that reality, thinking you're seeing reality with a capital R, and the part of your brain that can see what you can do about it, or even why you're thinking that way or why you're having the reaction, you're too fused with it in order to work with it constructively. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here, right? And again, please don't reject it out of hand by just wanting to argue with me and say, no, John, I'm one of those rare cases where there is nothing redeeming here. It can't be fixed because my ex really is evil, stupid, and crazy, right? As long as you stick in that mode, my advice to you about what to improve about it will be less effective. That's just the reality. The parents I've worked with who actually make really good progress are able, at least some of the time, to see that their perception is colored by their stress. And that's just true in life. You need to have this awareness about life, whether it's about your divorce or not. Our brains work this way, right? And you probably have had a bad day where you woke up on the wrong side of the bed for whatever reason, and you realized you were crappy all day, and it had a lot to do with losing sleep, but you believe the thoughts in your head about the things that were happening, right? Like you probably have had that happen, so you can understand this. So some of my subsequent videos that talk about how you can cope better, how you can co-parent better, and how you can parent your kid better are going to work much more effectively for you if you entertain this idea that I'm sharing in this video, right? Because our brains really have a lot of special functions, and sometimes they work for us amazingly. But some of the ways that our brains are wired don't work so well for us in some situations. And I want to help you correct for those brain changes so that you can cope well and parent well after your separation, right? So stay tuned on the channel for more specific advice about how to use what I talked about in this video, but to tailor it to some particular issues so that you can be the best parent that you can be, right? So if you like this kind of content, please hit the like button below. If you have yet to subscribe to the channel, please subscribe. Stay tuned to this series, because if you are going through a separation or have recently gone through one, or are questioning whether you're parenting well after a separation, I'm going to talk about a lot more topics within this idea of co-parenting after divorce. So stay tuned to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.